Restless Outdoors.
Hey guys, welcome to Restless Outdoors. Finally, the opportunity has come to test out the Enlighten Equipment Conundrum sleeping quilt that I picked up. It was last week that it was sent to me. Did a review, check that out. The weather forecast here in Northeast Ohio has been bitterly cold, but what I was waiting for were the temperatures to drop to 0 degrees. And that was really the ideal temperature that I want to test this bag at because I don't see myself backpacking anything colder than that. So I wanted to make sure that the equipment that I have is suitable for taking out in the backcountry. Now, just like the Revelation quilt that I tested last year, I'm going to do a real-world test, as I call it. Instead of going and backpacking 5-10 miles out in the backcountry and testing equipment, I'd rather test it a little bit closer to home, preferably my backyard. So unfortunately, though, I did record a lot of video yesterday, but through editing and all that, I lost a lot. Don't worry, I have the meat and potatoes of the test. That did not get deleted. But what I'll do is kind of insert myself here and there to explain what's going on. Without further ado, here's the video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, guys, it's gonna happen. Well, let me turn that light on. There's the tent. There is the conundrum, and here I am. Ooh. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'll bring it over to the light. Right now, let's see. We are at 3 degrees. Let's see if that helps a little bit. Okay. Oh, let me do this here too. Okay. Perfect. We'll set this in here like so, and we'll zipper this guy up here. Now, I'm going to see how well. You may not be able to see me too well. Let's see here. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me see about the lighting. Real quick, one thing worth noting, underneath the Thermarest, I do have another pad along with a quilt on the bottom. This is more or less I can bundle up some of my batteries and stuff, as well as my jacket with all the batteries, and try to just keep it somewhat warm. But you have the quilt here. Again, really the theory is to add another pad just to give it a little bit more thermal insulation, because the Thermarest NeoAir I think is good down to like 25, so this should hopefully keep it from at least keep my backside from freezing. Okay, well, hopefully you can see me, but one of the things I did do is I actually screwed the tent down to the deck, because they're calling for actually pretty high winds today. So, but other than that, the tent should be fine. Everything has been sitting out here for a couple hours now, so everything is pretty cold. The pillow's cold, but back of my head's going to feel nice with this hat on against my pillow. But that's about it, guys. I'm going to go in and I'm going to try to slip inside this bag and see how long I last and see if I get cold, and I will check back with you in a couple minutes as soon as I get situated here. So actually what I'm going to do is change the camera lens too, so I think it's a little bit too close, but give me a few more minutes and we'll get inside and we'll take it from there. Okay, so at this point I never do change out the camera lens. What ends up happening is I go in the sleeping bag, and I was cold. There's no doubt about it. It was freezing. The pad was freezing. The quilt was freezing. And it took me about, I'd say about 2 to 3 minutes to get everything acclimated to my body temperature. And that's when things started to really warm up. And I couldn't believe how warm it actually was in that bag, to the point where I actually did not want to go out and change the lens and do all that stuff. So I figured, oh, I'm just going to lay here for a little bit. Well, what ended up happening was I actually fell asleep. which is unlike me when I'm backpacking. Usually it takes a while for me to fall asleep, but I really think that the temperature inside that bag and just how comfortable I actually was, it was amazing. And like I said, I fell asleep, and then the next thing that happens is I wake up, and this is going to be in this segment right here. It's about 2:30 in the morning. Like I said, just kind of woke up, realized, oh wow, I'm outside. I'm fine. Everything feels great. But I had to go to the bathroom real bad, so I'm like, I don't know if I should just go, fall back asleep or just actually get up. But well, here you go. Watch. Okay, guys. It's about 2:30 in the morning. I ended up getting up to take a potty break. So a couple things. I am unbelievably warm and toasty in here. That is not an issue. It's funny because of how cold everything is, including the pillow. But you can kind of see right now there is a little bit of frost developing where my heat of the body is kind of escaping the bag. But other than that, I mean, it's surprisingly, it's like an oven in here. So I think the temperature right now, it dropped one more degree. It's 2 degrees. I think by 6, it will be 0 degrees. But I'm going to go back to bed. This thing is awesome. That's all I can say. And even the way I have it now set up, I have it in kind of like quilt mode. So it's not even completely zipped up. And there's no cold air coming through. The bands that hold the quilt to the mat down are working just awesome. Where I thought I was going to get like some type of cold air was through the top, but that's not where it's coming in. I'm actually a little bit too hot even wearing this. I was debating on whether to take this off, but I'm going to keep it on because, again, if it's going to drop down to 0, I figure this will probably just keep me just warm enough. But so far so good. I may have frost on here, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the morning. So, okay, I'm going to go back to bed. Thanks, guys. So the night continued without fail. Ended up falling back asleep. It was funny because I did have the quilt in, I guess you can call it quilt mode. I didn't have it zipped up all the way. So the Conundrum, you can actually zip it to 3/4 length zipper, and you can zip it all the way up to your neck and cinch it down. I didn't opt to go for that route. There's 2 reasons why I didn't do that. One was I wanted to really get maximum coverage on me, where I didn't feel confined like a sleeping bag, and I can really kind of burrow myself inside that bag because it was pretty cold. Interesting though, there was a comment that someone had made in regards to the Conundrum, and they ended up taking it back, saying that the bag let a lot of cold air, or they felt cold around their shoulders. And it got me thinking, I wonder if it was because it was zipped up all the way, because when it's zipped up, it's much more narrower than if you were to open it up as a quilt. And with that said, I could see the down being compressed, especially if you have broad shoulders and it's a narrow bag. That down is compressed around your shoulders, and that cold air is going to get to you because obviously there's no loft protecting you from the elements. So it makes me wonder if that's what happened. But again, I didn't test that out because I wanted to, again, use it more as a quilt. So regardless, I woke up right around 5:30ish. Actually, my wife came in and woke me up just to really check on me to see if I was alive. I was like, yeah, no, I feel great. Matter of fact, there were points where I was sweating inside that quilt. So that's just amazing that, I really, considering what I was wearing, which wasn't really much, considering the weather, but I really was very comfortable in there. So anyways, that's part of the video that got deleted, was me getting up and talking and stuff. So essentially I get up at 5:30, go inside the house, make a cup of coffee, and it was still dark, obviously. So it really just didn't make for good filming anyways. But the funny thing, and I will tell you this, when I went inside the house, and we keep our house roughly around like 67, 68, kind of like in that realm right there, and it's comfortable. Coming from the sleeping bag inside the house, I actually was chilly inside the house. It was actually way warmer in that sleeping bag. I'd have to say, with my body heat producing that ambient temperature inside, it must have been 70 degrees in there or something, or 75 or whatever, but it felt amazingly warm inside, to where, again, when I go inside the house, I'm actually putting more clothes on, drinking my coffee because I was freezing. So I think that's a good a testament to how well insulated that bag is. What are my final thoughts on the Enlighten Equipment conundrum? I say, if you have the means, and if you're looking for a cold weather sleep system, whether it's a sleeping bag or a sleeping quilt, I highly, highly recommend getting this conundrum. I did a lot of research on these bags, and again, I'm gonna stress it, for the price versus how low that temperature rating goes to minus 10 degrees. There's not a lot of quilts out there that go to minus 10. The conundrum does, and you got to keep that in mind, because it is something that, again, if you want that added extra warmth to get you below zero, it's to me a great solution, and especially the cost. That, you know, considering the cost of other low temperature sleeping systems out there, really look out there and see. Again, the compressibility, the weight, it's a win-win-win in my book. So, but I will be taking this. We're going to be doing a winter hike here very shortly, and I'm excited to take it out into the actual backcountry. Now I feel confident this thing is going to work without fail. So, guys, I appreciate you watching again. We'll see you soon. Thanks.